welcome Stick, or should we say, aka Neil Peters. Stick Daring, I don't know if many of you have been following, but he kind of set out on a venture around the UK at the same sort of time that my regatta season started, and I kind of missed the early part of your story, which of course you can look on if you go on Facebook. But can you just tell us what the hell you're doing and why you're doing it?
Why I'm doing it, it's a difficult question really. I've always had this interest in seeing Britain, and I've never actually seen all of Britain. I've sailed all over the world in lasers and various other boats, and I was talking to one of my friends in the pub about 3 years ago, and I said, why don't we just go around Britain? And we were going to do it on our bikes.
Right.
And then he said, well, you've got a boat, why don't you do it in a boat? And I said, okay, I'll race you. So he said, all right, I'll do it on my bike.
Right.
So of course you look at the distance around Britain on a bike would be a lot more than on a boat if you can go straight on the run line.
Yeah.
So we measured it out, and we reckoned it would take him about 90 days on a bike if he did 100 miles a day.
Right.
And obviously that's up and down. Anyway, so long and the short of it is we did a practice run, which went terribly for me. So we actually went to Bexhill from Pevensey Bay Sailing Club. He set off on his bike and he got there, and I nearly drowned. So I loaded my boat up with 40 kilos of water as a test, seat carrying kit, obviously, in a laser.
Yeah.
Got my main sheet wrapped round it, capsized in the shore dump, standing up looking for him on the shore.
Oh.
And it was January. I got ashore and said, God, he said, where have you been? So I said,
nearly died.
So it didn't go that well. Anyway, he ultimately bailed out and he decided he was going to do it. So I thought, well, I've kind of been looking at this for ages, and I was going to do it the year before last, and I was going to do it the following year, and stuff got in the way. And then for some reason, one of my mates actually suddenly put a Facebook page together and said, I'm going around Britain. Oh my God, I'm going around Britain. Okay, well, I'm going to go around Britain then. So I'll do it.
Fantastic.
And that's sort of how it started, really.
So we met. I picked you up yesterday when I thought you were on your way to New Haven to sort of.
So did I.
And then you obviously had a few instances yesterday. You were setting off from Cowes.
Yeah, so I've done 72 days sailing. I thought it was 71 because I've almost lost count. But so I've done 72 days sailing, and of those 72 days, I've probably spent 60 days really focusing on where I'm going the night before. And at Cowes, I met an old mate, we went out, had some drinks.
That's embarrassing.
So not a huge amount, but I'm sort of I'm only 45 miles from home stage.
Yeah.
And I've done 100 miles in a day nearly on some occasions.
So you're thinking I'm home?
So I did set off yesterday. I knew it was breezy. They'd cancelled the match racing the yachts were racing in because it was 27 knots at Bramblenet. I thought I'd be fine, flat water-ish in the Solent. So I went on.
You've been sailing in the Solent before, though.
Yeah,
you know what it's like.
Yeah, and it was all quite cool until I got out of the cover of Spithead, and then it wasn't quite so cool, and some big ships, and then it was really uncool. I just got a lump of wind came in, found myself in the wrong side of the tide. Hadn't thought about the tide enough, and it was really pushing me out. I ended up at Nab Tower.
That's pretty scary.
Which was too far offshore.
I'd be scared being at Nab Tower.
Well, I've been offshore a long way, around Britain, so I've got quite comfortable being outside of land, but it was deep, and the wave pattern was really unpleasant, and I had to go on a dead run to get back in, to get round the point, back into Bognor.
Yeah.
And I got to the tower, sat there, and the wind was just going mental, so I was flogging.
Well, when I picked you up, I could barely hold my door when I opened it. It was that sort of crazy.
It was flogging, so I tried to go dead downwind, capsized twice. One right on the turning mark where the big ships go. Yeah. And there was a big ship coming, and I thought I've just got to go backwards. Deep breath.
Big deep breath.
Yeah. Proper deep breath. I thought, okay, there's nothing broken. Boat's upright. I'm still alive. I'm in the boat. Everything's all together. Just aim for a soft landing on a broad breach.
But if you capsized and separated from the boat out there, you could have been.
Yeah, I try not to think negatively.
No, just hang on to the main sheet.
Just make sure you don't get your feet tangled in anything.
Yeah.
It's easy to get a laser up.
Yes.
So we do it all the time, racing. So reset the mind.
We try not to do it.
Yeah. But yeah, yes. So yesterday, I would say probably ranked in the top 5 bad days.
I was going to ask you. You mentioned last night your 5 moments on this trip.
So the biggest
where
one.
Where were they? Where
Okay.
were those? You'll show us on the map. Maybe.
So the first one, because I mean I started Eastbourne, so I started here at
Yeah.
the pier at 12 o'clock on the 17th of July,
Yeah.
and I had a lovely sunny day, nice broad beach,
Yeah.
and I ended up going down to Dover. I got all the way to Dover pretty much. I went through the 9 o'clock at night. I got here, and it was still lovely light, a sunny night. But I went straight through the firing range because the wind had totally died. I'd never done this before, so I figured, I'll just find somewhere to camp. And the firing range boys were really unhappy because they escorted me. They gave me a walk about this big to try and get me off the range. So I said, I can't take that, sink me. So I ended up pulling up. They escorted me to the end of the range, and there were like 10 targets. And as my transit went past number 10, all the guns went off.
You're joking.
Yeah, I think they were really fed up with me. And so I beached on the beach. The guy said, you've got to go and report to the watchtower. So I
Oh
thought,
my God, you're in trouble already.
I'm not doing that. So I put the tent up and spent the night there. And then the following morning, a fisherman rocked up, a guy called Richard. And it was really honking. And I said, are you going out? And he said, no, we're not going today. It's too windy. And so I got changed into my gear, put my tent away, got ready to launch, and I was a bit uncomfortable. And I talked to him about, what about going around, going around Dover Harbour and all that stuff, because you've got to go around this bit here.
Yeah.
And what happens is the southwesterly wind bangs off the harbour wall, standing waves, all bang back. Anyway, so I didn't go. Okay, I came back and he said,
southwesterly, but
Sorry.
must be southeasterly. I guess.
southeasterly.
Yeah.
Southeasterly. Sorry.
Yeah.
Southeasterly. Anyway, so I didn't go, and then I got changed back into my gear, put my tent back up, sat in the tent. Then I asked some other fishermen, and one of these guys said, I said, what do you think? And he said, oh, that'd be skull and crossbones. You think, like, what on earth is skull and crossbones when it's at home? It doesn't sound an ideal situation.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
kind of sat there for a bit longer. And the guy, Richard, I'd seen earlier, super guy, he came back and said, look, it looks to me like it's midday. I think the wind's dropped a bit. He said it's below 25 knots. He said, you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
do I?
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I was doing at all. And so I thought, okay, well, he seems to think it's all right to go, so I'll go. And I went. He gave me a tip to go through the inside of the harbour. So cut through the harbour. So I radioed the harbour. First time I ever radioed anyone in the harbour. And I asked to go through it, and they said, no, if you're struggling where you are now, you need to go 4 miles offshore. So it's like, I'm in a laser.
I can't go 4 miles offshore.
I went 4 miles offshore.
You did?
Yeah, I went 4 miles offshore, got round, and it was a bit of a phew moment. But so that was the first moment really of the whole trip. That was like and actually I almost turned around and went home that day. Had Richard, the fisherman, not been on that beach, I would have gone home.
Let's save that as the first moment, and we'll pause. As I'm going to now do a stop.
Do you want to just
Oh,
check
you're
that?
joking me.
Did it time out?
No, it was fine. Don't know when it timed out, then we'll find out in a minute. Find out how much we got through. 8 minutes, 15 seconds. Let's go that is. Right, that's good. We got that in. That's grand. We got it all in. We're good. Good. So now we can go back to videoing again. Now I'm going to ask you about your boat being so different to a real laser.
Okay.
There you go. And I'm going to stop this.